One. Well, hello there, folks, and welcome to Let's Talk Sport. And today, well, we're bringing back the top 5 series. Only lasted one episode, and we're back again after huge demand. I lost the letters, okay? But anyway, I'm Jamie Davies. Alongside me is Jack Price and Joe Stanley. Now, before we go into this, today we are talking about the top 5 Champions League teams of all time. Now, this could be their favourite teams that have ever won it. It could be anything. It could be even teams that even fell short in this tournament, but they just like them anyway. I mean, to be honest with you, anything with Henrik Larsson in, I'm sorted. But anyway, before we go into it, Joe Stanley's a Liverpool fan, Jack's a Chelsea fan. I'm not saying expect those teams, but just be aware we might have some bias, but we have no one to answer to here at Let's Talk Sport, apart from you viewers at home. But anyway, first of all, lads, Champions League. Jack, what do you love about the Champions League, the European Cup? It's back this week. That's why we're doing this. What do you love about it?
Well, I'm struggling to find a point at the minute, Jamie, because my game is on right now and we are losing 1-0. So trying to find a positive for Champions League football right now is a struggle. But yeah, of course, winning the Champions League is the most important thing. Trying to get into the Champions League places in your main league, as obviously for us it's the Premier League, is super important, not just for the revenue, but for us as fans going to watch the midweek games and the prospect of winning that Champions League trophy come May. So yeah, for me it's a hugely important competition, and obviously for the players it is as well. Always enjoyable to go and watch a game in the Champions League against a top team. Obviously for us this year we've got AC Milan in our group as well, which should be a really interesting competition. So yeah, absolutely love the Champions League. Really happy that it's back, but of course it's quite condensed fixtures this year, so it'll be interesting how everybody gets on as my dog decided to get up and shake.
Even Jack's dog has seen a bit of the Champions League, and maybe they would like to share their top 5. But sadly,
that's why he's leaving. He's literally walking away. He's had enough of the game already.
Yeah, actually, while we record this, Jack is currently watching Chelsea 1-0 down to Zagreb. So let's see how that turns out between now and the end of this video. Joe, I mean, you've been quite lucky. You're a Liverpool fan. You've seen your team win it at least twice. 2005 and 2019, I think. Yep. So what do you love most about the Champions League?
Well, it's the biggest club competition, isn't it, in football? Obviously, under Liverpool, we've won the European Cup 6 times. It's our trophy per se. If you look at it from an English perspective, Real Madrid, obviously they won it 14 times, but from an English perspective, it's the trophy that we've won the most out of any other English club. The league's your bread and butter, but when you win the European Cup or Champions League, depending on what you want to call it, it's something even more special. It's the competition full of Europe's best teams. Okay, you got a few underdogs in there like Zagreb, Maccabi Haifa this season as well, but look at last season. Sheriff beat Real Madrid in the group stages at the Bernabeu. Nobody expected that. So anything can happen in that tournament, which I love. I used to love the away goals rule being in it. Obviously, they got rid of that last year. But, two-legged ties, anything can happen over the 2 games. You can win one game, lose the other. It could go to extra time penalties. And teams can go all the way. They can go from the first qualifying round to win the whole competition as well. And what's not to love about the Champions League?
You mentioned Sheriff when my team, Man United, have got them in the group. So, better not lose to them at Old Trafford in a few weeks' time. I must admit, if I'm going to share my thoughts, I love the 2-legged ties in the Champions League. You mentioned the away goals, Joe. I'm actually glad it's gone. I'm quite glad that now that it has to be decided in a fair capacity. I remember when United lost to Bayern Munich in 2010, famous for that Iron Robben volley from the corner, and it annoyed me thinking we played really well, but we've gone out because we drew 4-4, but they had more away goals. To me, that just never sat right with me, unless United won. But yeah, I do love the 2-legged ties where you've got you think one team is 2-0 up, and you think, well, they're halfway there. Yeah, halfway there. Still a second game to go. We saw what happened with Barcelona, Liverpool. What was it? 3-0 down, and then they would win 4-3 at Anfield, Liverpool. Man United at PSG, I thought we were done, but we somehow win there on a last-minute penalty from Rashford. Chelsea as well, Napoli that time in 2012. And I mean, we might talk about them later, but that Chelsea team that went to Barcelona 2-0 down, and somehow in the new camp with 10 men, they still go out and win.
Go on, Jack. Do a Gary Neville.
If we score a goal in this game live, I will probably do one.
We're in for a treat there, folks.
We won't score probably, but yeah, just to let you know.
And you see, folks, we're not like OnlyFans. You know, you get this for free.
The second one you have to pay extra for.
Yeah, that sounds about right. YouTube Premium's not cheap.
Do you know, Jamie? Before the away goals rule, they used to decide the ties on if it was level on a flip of a coin. No, what an awful way!
No,
yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Could you imagine the manager at full time? Why didn't you pick heads? That's appalling. But there has been some weird decisions in football. Golden goal. We'll leave it as that. Anyway, we're going to start off though with Jack. Now, Jack, if you can, we're going to do it where Jack and Joe name their 5-2. So whatever's number 1 is their Champions League team of all time. So Jack, fire away, my friend.
Okay, well, I'll try not to spoil it because I've written them down, so I just got to try and ignore the bottom one. Starting at number 5, I have the 2011 Barcelona team. And at number 4, I have Real Madrid 2018. At number 3, I have the 2012 team that is Chelsea bias. At number 2, Jamie will like this.
Was it Man United 99 number 5, was it?
No, Barcelona 2011 is
Barcelona 20.
number 5.
I've made a mistake on my thing, but okay, no worries.
Right. Well, I was going to say you will probably like this, but Man United 1999 is at number 2.
Okay, so I'll just don't worry, folks. I've got the screen back now, so there we go. As you can see, Barcelona 2011, Real Madrid 2018 at number 4. 2012, Chelsea number 3, Man United 1999. Joe, let's go with you next.
Number 5 is Manchester United 1999.
Oh, yes.
I've got Bayern 2020 at number 4. Number 3 is Liverpool 1984 because I've gone back into the European Cup days with that one.
Joe's that old.
And number 2, obviously I've never saw these play, just like Liverpool number 3, but Real Madrid 1956 because they won 5 in a row.
Wow.
What 1956 to 1960, wasn't it? You put down as well. So
yeah.
So there you go, there, folks.
Joe, you're looking really good for your age.
I know.
Yeah, Joe's seen it all. I mean, first of all, let's talk about. I mean, what does interest me? It doesn't make Joe's team, but Jack, Barcelona 2011. Now, as a United fan, it hurts, but
yes,
but,
yes.
You know, when you look at that team, David Villa, Lionel Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Piqué. You can even put Valdez in there if you really want to. Eric Abidal, well, actually, no, Abidal I think was injured for the fight. No, he was there. He was there.
Yeah, he was there.
But Jack, I mean, that team. It was one of those seasons I remember before that season started. I think they signed David Villa, and it just felt like that was it. Missing puzzle sorted. They've got everything they needed.
Yeah, for me, that's probably within maybe a 2-year margin, probably Barcelona's best team, in my opinion. The fact that I am a huge David Villa fan, he's one of the players that I absolutely loved growing up. So, he scored a great goal in that final, actually, against you. Obviously, this isn't to rub it in because you do have a second place. So, I'm trying to balance it out for you. But, obviously, like I said, it was a 3-1 win against you. But I've put Xavi, Iniesta, and David Villa, of course. But actually, this was Messi's most productive season in the Champions League as well. He scored 12 goals in that year. So I just thought this team has to be in there. Yes, it could have been higher up and there could have been other Barcelona teams that I could have chosen, of course. But for me, 2011 was one of the better Barcelona teams, if not the best. So I had to have them, in there at some point. So yeah, they did make the top 5.
Joe, do you ever feel, despite that season, do you ever feel Barcelona underachieved with that squad? They probably could have gone on to win it 2-3 years in a row. Let's not forget 2010 when they lost to Inter Milan in the semi-finals at the Nou Camp. That could have been them winning it 3 years on the trot from 2009 to 2011. Let's not forget they had 1 foot in the final in 2012, but Chelsea came back from the dead.
Yeah, but 2010 seemed to be a bit of a transitional year for Barcelona that year, because they did seem to, they got rid of Samuel Eto'o and they brought in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, which did not work in the only last of the season. It seemed to be a season where the Pep Guardiola tried to evolve the Barcelona team again. So they won the Champions League against Yolot in Rome 2-0 in 2009. Then he brought in a few new players, tried to change things about a little bit, and then in 2011 he seemed to get that balance right again. And like Jack said, sorry, I think something's happened.
Sorry, my man ZH just literally put it in Rose Ed. Sorry, continue.
Like Jack said, Messi got the 12 goals that season in the Champions League, and for me, there seemed to be a balance in that side of 2011 with Valdez in goal, obviously, and you had the back four. You had Puyol didn't actually start the final, did he? He come on as a late sub. The midfield seemed to have a balance to it as well. And then the forward line, the front three of Villa, Messi and Pedro. And it was a young Pedro as well. I tell you what, goals galore and passes and good old tiki-taka. That is the Barcelona.
Human being that Pedro man is.
That is vintage Barcelona.
I was going to say that I remember when Villa scored that goal, and I got so frustrated, but then I was just like, God damn it, that's a good goal. And it was funny. It was straight after this half time, I think it was, and Messi just struck it in the net as well. And we win with a chance because we got a goal back from Ray Mooney. Ryan Giggs with the assist, I remember. But just when Messi just scored, I just thought this could go one way now. I don't know. But yeah, they broke my heart twice, Barca. 2009 and 2011. We'll be back. We'll get you one day. Actually, no, their finances makes me happy. So we'll leave it at that. One team from, I must admit, Joe, I didn't expect to see a United team on your list, and Jack went with that as well. I mean, who wants to start about that 99 team?
Do you want to go first, Jack? Or
yeah, I mean, like I said, I put that second on the list just because I think it helps, obviously, domestically that it was a treble, as we say, you know, so it was a really important year for Manchester United. But that team as well, you know, you look at the injury time, I put injury time heroics, but you've got David Beckham taking the corners, you've got Teddy Sheringham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, really crucial players at that moment for Manchester United. And, you know, it was dramatic comeback in the final, but also in the semi-finals as well. So I just felt like, obviously it helps that it was a treble for United at that time, but I just felt in the competition in the Champions League as well, and as I've put in one of my other picks as well, it was a team thing. It's not just this was an amazing team, but they worked together as a unit, and I felt that's why United, and especially that year, deserves to be on the list, because they helped each other as a team. It wasn't just say like one player was amazing and that's why they won the Champions League. It was everybody as a team to win that. So yeah, for me, that's why Manchester United are on it and so far up my list, to be fair.
I was going to say also, I think the one thing that always struck me was that Beckham never got Ballon d'Or that year. You know, the man who pretty much set up both goals. He's the one that delivered in the balls in those corners, but instead he got beaten by Rivaldo. And you look at it and think, what did Rivaldo win? I mean, that season alone, maybe in 2002 he could have got it, but not in 99. But that's what always annoys me. We nearly won everything, just not the Ballon d'Or. Sadly, that year. I mean, we've got to talk about Real Madrid. I was always expecting them to feature in one of your lists. Let's talk about a team we do know. Real Madrid 2018 off Jack's list. But first of all, Joe, Real Madrid, when you think of Real Madrid, you just think of Champions League, don't you?
Yeah, and can I just jump back to Man United just quickly?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Go on.
You did score 111 goals across all competitions that season, and you run, obviously you finished second in the group behind Bayern Munich, and ahead of Barcelona and Brøndby. Yeah, beat Inter in the quarters and Juventus in the semi. So it wasn't an easy run to the final either.
No. I remember the Juventus game, we were 2-0 down as well at their place in Turin. So it was literally Roy Keane got given a yellow, and so he knew he was going to miss the final, but he still came in the corner, smashed it home, and he just didn't take any shit whatsoever. And he's like, I'm going to take this team into the final, even if I'm not going to be there. And then you see the typical Dwight York and Andy Cole partnership that was one of the best in the world that we ever saw. So, yeah.
But yeah, back to what was it? The question about Real Madrid again. So, Jamie.
So obviously, whenever we see Real Madrid, you straight away think Champions League. I mean, they won it. They won it this year again. They won it 3 years in a row in 2016, 17, and 18.
Yeah.
I mean, let's mainly talk about that 2018 squad. I mean, sorry, Joe. I know this is both Real Madrid teams. We'll talk about that beat Liverpool in the final, but it just shows, doesn't it? Even though the club is the biggest club in the world potentially, they can still find themselves a Champions League after they had quite a gap of not winning it between 2014 and 2002.
Yeah, and obviously Real Madrid seem to be our Barcelona. You know, you guys had Barcelona who beat you twice. We got Real Madrid who beat us twice in their modern times as well. They're a team that's synonymous with the European Cup, as you know. They were first ever winners, won it 5 years in a row back in the early days, but we'll get onto that later. And then this seems to be the modern day version of that, if that makes sense. So obviously they won it in 2014 and they won it, did you say 16, 17, 18 as well? So unbelievable. It's the same crop of players as well, mostly on that squad, which is unbelievable as well. You had the Galactico era in the early 2000s that were supposed to do what the late 2010s team did.
Yeah. And
obviously you got, what is it, Modric and Cruz in the middle of the park with Casemiro holding. Unbelievable midfield three there. You've got Thibaut Courtois in goal.
Don't mind that to Jack.
My eye just twitched.
As much as I can't stand him, Sergio Ramos is a quality centre back when he's on the pitch and not getting sent off.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo, world class.
End of.
There's always going to be a debate between him and Messi. But
he scored more goals than appearances at Real Madrid. That's insane. Like he had the Real Madrid dream in his hands. It's just you can't beat it. But this is the thing. You mentioned some of those players. I mean, we still talk about Luka Modric. He's been at the club for 10 years now. He's been given he got given a 1-year extension, I think it was, and they were considering it. And I was like, what do you mean considering it? This guy is amazing. You can't not have him. He scored a worldie the other week. It's just like this guy just turns up whenever it's needed.
Yeah. And Gareth Bale scored the 2 goals in 2018 as well.
Underrated.
Granted that one of them was because of a Loris Karius howler, but let's not take that away. No, it wasn't. I was watching it on the big screens at Anfield.
Oh, Joe.
And I was fuming.
That was a beautiful night. I'm not going to lie. I'm really not going to lie. I literally put that 2018 team in just because of that Bale bicycle kick.
Oh, the bicycle kick. I just sat there and applauded.
Yeah. That was just deserving of a place for the goal itself. You know, when the fact that you've got Zidane, who actually, them two, obviously, we all know had a bit of an issues together. The fact that you've got him absolutely celebrating that goal, like he wished he would have scored a goal like that in the Champions League final. So
which he did,
that for me,
sort of.
But nobody's going to beat that. Nobody's going to beat that. So for me, and I put a point like Joe's just mentioned that it was almost the same team as from 2016 and 17 that won it 3 times in a row. So huge credit for that Real Madrid team. As Joe's put in there, obviously from the 50s as well. Obviously, don't really have a huge knowledge of that era, but as Joe mentioned, that is almost the same sort of thing that the Real Madrid of this era did as well. So yeah, that's why they had to be in there. But I put 2018 down just because of that Bale bicycle kick. Really, the other games were great against Atletico. You know, the first one that was a Bale one as well, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, let's not forget as well. I mean, this squad that won it this year, some of them are back. Played in 2016, 17, 18. And then we had Carlo Ancelotti, who won it with them in 2014 as well. So it just shows how old elements of Real Madrid still works. And despite what people say about Florentino Perez, he's made some good decisions in the last few years to keep that club relevant and one of the best in the world. I mean, Karim Benzema, what a signing he's been since 2009. I mean, I didn't expect him to be around for this long at this top level, but look what he's doing now. So a very exciting time still for Real Madrid. I think before we do reveal our top ones, I do want to quickly talk about one of Joe's, Bayern Munich 2020. That one intrigues me. I don't know. I can't put my mind on it. Great team. Would it be more because of what they did to Barca, maybe, Joe?
I put it in there because they won the Sex 2 pool as well. That in the year of 2020, obviously the other two trophies technically classed as the 21 to 22 season, but yeah, the 2020 to 21 season. Sorry, the other two. But yeah, they won the Bundesliga, Champions League, and DFB Pokal that season as well. But they lost the Super Cup final to Dortmund. Topped the group, they beat Spurs away 7-2. Then they obviously beat Barcelona in the final 8-2 because of COVID, it got reduced down to one leg. So that probably does taint Bayern Munich's victory a little bit in that regard. But you think about it, they beat Olympiacos and Belgrade, should be beaten anyway, but they beat Chelsea in the last 16, Barcelona in the quarters, and beat Lyon in the semis before beating PSG in the final, thanks to an old PSG playing Kingsley Coman's header. Strong squad with Neuer, Kimmich, Alaba, your best mate Davies, Thiago Alcantara, Coutinho on loan from Barcelona, who scored twice in the quarterfinals against his parent club. That was funny. Muller, Robert Lewandowski, Hansi Flick as manager, and they scored 159 goals across all competitions that season.
That's insane. Yeah, that Coutinho moment when he scored twice from the bench was. You couldn't write it. You just couldn't write it. I'm surprised Barca let him play against them while on loan. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Maybe they thought Coutinho's going to be no Fred. What are you talking about? But anyway, let's reveal all then. So starting off with you, Jack. What is your number one?
Well, to be fair, that's really tainted now because you pulled a face at it, but they are my number one. That literally they are the team for me in terms of the top. You know, the fact that you can go in. So Bayern Munich for me is that the 2020 team. Yes, you could say there are other ones. The temptation to put 2013 against Dortmund in the Champions League. I mean 2012 as well when they faced us. That was an immense Bayern Munich team at the Allianz Arena as well. But I just felt like beating, I know it's not the same Barcelona as we mentioned from the 2011s, 2012s, but for me, beating Barcelona 8-2, beating Spurs 7-2 is always a good point in my book. And, you know, Joe reeled off that number of players. I say that obviously the era of Ian Robben and Frank Ribery was an amazing era, but the names Joe mentioned, I mean, some of them were still around at that time as well. Manuel Neuer, you know, is certainly one of them, but Kimmich, Lewandowski, you know, Lewandowski's has been having an amazing last few years. Obviously, he's gone to the bankrupt Barcelona now, but in terms of where he was at Bayern Munich, he was absolutely incredible. You know, Alaba and Boateng were immense that season as well in defence. Goretzka, as Joe mentioned. So for me, all them players, it was huge. And yes, it could be slightly tainted. People might not talk about it as much, but I just felt like the performances they put in that season, for me, warranted putting them at the top.
I mean, I forgot what I was going to say, but maybe, you know what's funny? Lewandowski will play Bayern Munich in a few weeks for Barca in the group stages, so that will
be interesting.
But yeah. Look at Mane, and Mane would be like, "I've got your spot now, my friend." So we'll see. Joe still misses Mane.
Sadio.
I was going to say, I mean, the one goal that always gets me, and I see it quite a lot still, and even the Champions League Instagram page shares it a lot. Alphonso Davies, when he does that run down the left-hand side, still keeps going. Then he gets into the box, you think, wait, where's he going? Where's he going? And then I think Kimmich just taps it in. You think, wow, what a run. And I think that season was when Alphonso Davies, for example, really cemented himself in the world. And, you know, I love signings like that because he was from Vancouver Whitecaps, or he started out in a Red Bull team, then he went to Vancouver Whitecaps. It's like, how do you pick up someone like that and become probably one of the best left backs in the world?
Yeah.
And the guy
it reminded me a lot of Bale when he came through at Tottenham in that European game. I think it was Inter Milan, wasn't it?
Yeah, he scored a hat-trick.
Again, he highlighted in that one game, obviously coming from Southampton to Tottenham. In that one game, it was like, okay, this guy is... And he was playing left back, I think. Was he in that game?
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, like you said, it was a great game for Davies, but it did remind me of that time for Bale as well. So.
Okay, Joe, now for your number one.
It's going to sound daft because Jack put me in 5th place, but I've gone for Barcelona 2011.
Oh, right, okay.
They could have been anywhere, Joe. Yeah, they could have been anywhere.
I know that 2019 probably had a better run, especially with, sorry, Jack, but that Iniesta goal in the semi-final second leg.
Don't even get me started about that referee.
Heartbreak.
What a disgrace. What a disgrace, as Didier Drogba would. Well, he put an F in there as well, but.
And then Richard Keys goes, sorry about that language.
Richard Keys.
But obviously, we've already discussed about what quality that squad was for Barcelona in 2011. The players that obviously Jack mentioned before as well, and the record and the performance in that final. Because you think about it, all the goals that were scored in that final, even the one by Rooney for United, were all quality finishes. Pedro gets in and finishes past Van der Sar at his near post. Then you got Rooney's equaliser where he bends it into top corner. And then you got Messi where he dribbles it past a few players and scores his first goal in English soil.
Yeah.
And then you got that Villa one that just
before the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice as well at full time. Oh yeah. I remember that as well at full time. At full time as well, because he just come back from his liver cancer and Puyol gave him the armband and said, here's our little tribute to you. You lift the trophy, which I think was a nice touch as well. It shows the humility of that Barcelona side. Can't say about Barcelona now, but
I was gonna say before we wrap up, then. So we found out that Jack's favourite is Bayern Munich from 2020, Joe's from Barcelona 2011. Any honourable mentions, lads, when you were doing this list? Can I put it out there? I'm gonna say it, and my favourite probably is at the top. For me, I think it's just more because I was a bit younger and I grew up watching them, and that is the Inter Milan 2010 team.
Yeah.
I think seeing Snyder not getting Ballon d'Or that year was criminal. Messi, don't get me wrong, had a great season, but I think Snyder deserved it. Got Netherlands to the World Cup final as well. It took Spain to extra time. Then, you look at Diego Milito scored in the final. Pandev, what a player he was for them as well. Then you had Eto'o and Zanetti. Zanetti was still playing as well for Inter Milan. Julio Cesar in goal. And I think when we saw that happen, Mourinho getting a second Champions League against Barcelona at the Nou Camp as well in the semis, and then to play Bayern Munich as well in the final like that, they completely silenced them. So I think for me that would have been Inter Milan. Any honourable mentions anyway, lads?
To be fair, Inter Milan were going to be on that list. They would have been in replace of Chelsea, but the bias for Chelsea was too strong. But for me, they were both sort of similar because, when you went into the start of that season, obviously everybody has favourites on who they think is going to win. Obviously, Chelsea wasn't at that time, and I don't think Inter Milan would have been either. But as I mentioned with United in terms of a team coming together, Inter Milan was a pure example of that, along with Chelsea. Obviously the comeback from Napoli for Chelsea, and obviously Barcelona, and of course Bayern Munich in Bayern Munich was one, a great team for performances, and that's why they're on the list. But Inter Milan could have easily been the same on replacing Chelsea on my list. That was an amazing team, and I think Mourinho essentially got the Real Madrid job the next day. I think.
Yeah, he knew as well. He knew he didn't. He didn't get on the coach back to Italy. I remember he said goodbye to all the players that night. Pretty much.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm staying here," because it was at the Bernabeu that final.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. You mentioned Chelsea as well. That Chelsea team, just like the Real Madrid team this season, feel quite similar. Just full of miracles and just somehow win it. It was never expected. And even Jamie Carragher said it on Paramount TV. Real Madrid have got no chance winning the Champions League. Absolutely no chance. And then he got that wrong. Oh well. Joe, any honourable mentions before we go?
Inter Milan were obviously in. I did think when you were saying about the teams, you said teams that may have won it, teams that didn't win it. A team that didn't win it, but were quite good under Brian Clough with Derby County in, I think it was 73, I think it was, or something. I'm not sure.
See, this is how old Joe is.
So to somebody such as obviously Liverpool had many great European sides. Milan's side of 2005. They got beat by Liverpool in the final, but look at that squad. You had Dida, you had Nesta, Maldini, Cafu, Kaká, Pirlo, Shevchenko, Crespo, Seedorf.
I'll never forget that Kaka ball to Crespo in the 2005 final, though. What
And
a goal!
Connor won't forgive us if we don't mention Forest.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we've got to
two
put them
in
in
a
there.
row. Yeah, they were the last team to win it 2 in a row since Real Madrid. Until Real Madrid did it in 2016 and 17. So yeah, quite a long record that lasted for. But yeah. But in all fairness, you mentioned AC Milan. They got it 2 years later, didn't they, Joe? Most of them. Even Inzaghi was finally able to get one, and Maldini was able to lift one more Champions League before he retired as well. So I guess they got it at the end against Liverpool, so they got their revenge there. Anyway, we've come to an end for our top 5 Champions League teams of all time. My thanks to Jack for nominating his and for Joe. And I think it's fair to say, well, I'm just glad Man United are in there somewhere. That's all I'm thinking. But anyway, if you want to share yours, put yours below. Could be any team that even if they didn't win, put it in that comments below. And do give us a like and subscribe to Let's Talk Sport. We'll see you very soon, and hopefully more of these to come.